Hi, my tarot bumblebees, it's Ethany and welcome back to my channel, or hello if you're brand new here. And today I'm sharing with you a glorious bounty that I received from US Game Systems. I am so excited to have this deck in my hands. I now have 3 editions of this deck, the Fairy Tale Tarot. Oh, is it 2? I have the Llewellyn one. There's 3, right? Okay, we're not going to ponder on that too much. But I had a lovely box of goodies come in with a whole bunch of new tarot and oracle decks. So I wanted to share them all with you to see if they are something that you would tickle your fancy, and to show you what you get when and if you purchase these decks. So as always, I'm going to swap over cameras and I'm going to share with you my first impressions and go through the entire deck so you can see if it aligns. So let's go and do that. And as always, all of the links to the decks are in the description box below. Let's check them out. I have been wanting to work with the tea leaf fortune cards for so long, and I finally have my grubby little mitts on them. This is by Ray Hepburn and illustrated by Shauna Alexander. This has been around since 2011, so it's been reprinted a couple of times, which tells you just how popular it is. There are 200 round cards and a guidebook. I'm not going to show you all of the cards because we would literally be here all day, but it does come in a really lovely box where the cards fit so easily in. I wanted to take them out so that it was much easier to work with. And there are symbols and other cards in here, so I just wanted to show you some of the so these are all tea leaf symbols. I will show you some of them. This is months of the year. And then we have astral houses. So this is the astral houses. Yeah. So these are the astral houses. We have love, marriage, happiness, success, wealth, career. What I love is that these are all positive. I can just picture, can't even pick them up. I can just picture being able to work with these with like my money magic cards so well. Then we have our months, and as you can see, this is Northern Hemisphere because in Australia that is not January, but at least you have the January, February, March, April, May, June, July, August, September. Okay, so we have November, December. Now, there are specific things you can do with these cards. So I'm just going to leave them over here. So one of the things you can do is place them all in this big old baggie and then pick them out, which I think is really cool. You get a really big bag there. So I wanted to actually show you the book before showing you some of the cards because, again, there are 200 of them, so it's going to take a little too long for that. But as you can see, this has been reprinted a number of times. So we got the brief history of tea leaf reading, development of tea leaf fortune cards, traditional tea leaf reading methods, and then divining using the cards, and then symbols and their meanings. And I just, as I'm filming this, Tarot Summer School is underway, and Karen Dalton-Smith is teaching tea leaf reading. So this is like this is really good timing. So here we have some history. Not surprising at all that it's that we find tea in China really way before the West found tea. And some more history, which I would love to read because I don't know all of it. Then we get into the development of the cards and then the traditional meanings or the traditional reading methods. What I love about this is some people don't like sipping herbal teas, and this is fantastic if you sometimes want to do this, but other times you don't. You want to just use some symbols. And I love that we've seen here a example. So good to see some photo examples. And then using the cards, and then we go into the keywords, the images. Oh, Mercury and the Gatorades. And I love that it's just like it's by alphabetical order and it's getting straight to the point so you can work with it quickly. So yeah, I'm really excited to use these. I'm going to show you a bunch. And as you can see on the cards, we have keywords too. So dogs, like really to the point, right? Fair man, dealings or relationship with a man with blonde, grey or white hair. Warning you of a problem either now or in the near future. Like I love that there's no playing around with this. It's very to the point. Flute, disappointment in a friend or lover. Dude, what does it say that I'm a flute player? Fox, shrewdness and resourcefulness, especially in business. Hammock, taking a vacation physically or mentally. Hat, you'll be playing a different role. And how fun will it be to pop them in that pouch, give them a good shake and take the cards out. And I would do lots of fun things like roll some dice, or, you know, you can throw charms over them. I love that there's so many of them. Probably one of the largest like oracles I've seen. Probably like the Alleyman stuff is probably got lots, but this is definitely a deck where there are more symbols and images for you to work with. So yeah, I am really excited to work with this, especially in conjunction with the tea leaf reading course with Karen for Tarot Summer School. And I have a beautiful teacup of hers. It's a Rue. So I feel like this is going to be a lovely companion and a different way to work with the tea energy. And talk about taking some ambiguity out of the symbols. Like when you are doing tea leaf reading, sometimes you can be like, oh, is that what I'm seeing? Like, is that the right symbol, you know, or am I misinterpreting it? But usually not. And you just got to go with what you're getting in your intuition. But this definitely takes the guesswork. But yeah, I just think like for a pack, you've got such a well-rounded way of working with the divination. I'm thrilled to have this in my collection now. And I would love to hear if you work with them and some of your reading practices with it. So these are the tea leaf fortune cards. I'm so thrilled to have the Fairy Tale Tarot here by Lisa Hunt. This is the 2024 edition. I have every edition of this deck, so I'm so glad I have this one now in my collection. Now, as I went to get the deck out of the box, they fell on the floor. So who knows what order they're going to be in. This is a full book by Lisa, and you get the fairy tale that the cards are from, the culture, traditional meaning. So if you don't know the Roman numeral kind of translation, and your keywords. So everything that Lisa does, like even in the minor arcana, right, you're still getting all of that information. So you're never going to be lost in this deck. Everything that she does is so well done. It is beautiful. The artwork is exquisite. And I'm so glad this is back in print. We have baby blue backs. It is very slippery, so it's going to fan beautifully, but hence the reason why it spilled all over the floor. But I don't care. I don't care. It's here. I love this deck. I think for look, even the details of the titles, the artwork is so stunning. Like, look, the dragons in the background. You know, may not find this to be particularly like Rider-Waite-Smith-esque, and that's fine. What I love to do with this deck is inner child work, self-worth work, and shadow work, because so many fairy tales have great lessons, metaphors, and messages about shadow work, self-worth, all that kind of stuff, because fairy tales are some of our first representations of learning lessons. And these are like enduring universal lessons that we can learn, if we so choose to learn, through these tales and not have to necessarily learn them ourselves. We can understand and recognize patterns in people's behaviors. We can look for warning signs or red flags, and they are oral history. And one of the beautiful things about this deck, and there are many, is that it's multicultural, and it sheds a light on some of the common threads that we have, the lessons that we have, no matter where we are in the world. And it's simply beautiful. So I usually use this deck, and I have been using my other edition, which is the Llewellyn one, for myself. So if I was going to be reading this, or I would be bringing it out as a, specifically working with that healing the inner child. And again, I'm sorry for if any of it's out of order, it all just fell on the floor. The Little Mermaid. And it really does just a beautiful job of showing not only the exquisite artwork of, look at that. But it's the difference, like, this is so stunning. A way that we can enter into the tarot or the fairy tale, depending on the lens we come to it with, is incredible. So you might go through the tarot card, through the actual fairy tale, or you could learn more about the fairy tale's lesson through the tarot card, right? There's all of these different ways in which you can work with it. And I have every single one of, I have every single one of Lisa's decks. And I will never not have a Lisa deck. If she ever has anything that comes out, I'm like, yes, please. Say less, take my money. And I really do need to do a video on all of my fairy tale decks, because my goodness, do I have a few. But I do believe, just for the art alone, the amount of time that watercolor takes, let alone the layers of this, it reminds me of I mean, there are some exquisite artists, but it just, yeah, we are very, very, very fortunate to have such beautiful artwork in our tarot decks. And again, sorry about the out of order. I was just playing 78 pickup. But look at, I mean, like, I have coyotes in my neighborhood. They're like the faces in the trees, and it's just, yeah. What a lovely way also to learn about a different culture. So I don't know many Asian fairy tales, but through different decks, I have been learning more. I mean, I know many of the Western ones, but it's lovely to learn new tales. Rumpelstiltskin. Isn't it gorgeous? Like, look at that Queen of Pentacles. Beautiful. Princess and the Pea. And nothing about this deck is rushed. The old shoemaker and the little helpers, the brownies. Nothing about this deck has been rushed. This deck has been lovingly and carefully created. Goldilocks. And I feel like it's one of those decks that can be Golden Goose, lovingly worked with. Now I'm going to try and pick it up. But yeah, this is just stunning. But as I said, I've traditionally been using this deck for shadow work, inner child work, lesson work, and journey work. Another really fun thing to do is to do story path working with it, or, you know, building a story on top of what you're seeing in the card. You know, so we see the Nine of Pentacles, and you may know what is going to happen in the myth or in the fairy tale, but you could write what comes before and what comes after just based on that picture alone, and not about the fairy tale at all. So there's lots you can do with story and exploration for creativity. And it is simply one of my favorites because I think Lisa is so talented. The Magicmakers Tarot is by Paulina Fay. Yay, we have another Paulina Fay deck. Another artist and creator that I have all of their decks. I really love that they're doing this little easy pop out here. I love her work. It's so whimsical and just, I mean, the name says it all, right? Paulina Fay. So I've learned my lesson from the last deck that just shot out of my hand. So I'm going to keep a hold of this. Gorgeous, simplistic, minimalistic backs. I kind of wish it was that purple color, but that's okay. There are things that I'm more particular about than backs, because, you know, you're going to be working, I guess, with the fronts more. But as always, Paulina's artwork is such her signature, and the detail in here is so gorgeous. Like the amount of time that it must take, and I love the bottom borders here. It doesn't detract from the cards themselves, and there's always more to look at each time you pick a card. So I've actually looked through this a couple of times. I was very excited to get it, and, you know, this time around I see the little snail. I didn't see that last time. So there's always layers in her artwork. As you can see, some of the titles are changed. And I mean, I don't mind that at all. it's very easy with the numbers. They're not in Roman numeral. You just got digits to be like, oh, okay, lovers are lovers. Oh, you know, so that's not too hard. And with these decks, I do often transfer my already established tarot knowledge onto the card. So I'll bring my, 25 plus years. Oh my God, I'm old. I think it's like 27 now. Oh, guys, so old. Years of experience to this. And then I'll look at the next layer of what am I getting intuitively from this, what is really standing out for me. But I will transfer my knowledge. That's a beautiful, beautiful temperance. So here we have the Jinn instead of the Devil. But you can absolutely work with this and any of these decks intuitively or however you wish. I love also the really iconic, very signature fashion that many of Paulina's figures have in the decks. And they're all so different. And yeah, it's like beautiful and creepy, and it's joyful and lovely. And like this is like, oh, she's a flapper girl, you know, but it's also kind of like Renaissance fair. It's really, really, really fun. And I love that it takes me, snails, it takes me out of my own head with the cards. It gets me to think of things a little bit differently because I'm entering a world that is not, it's not just what I can see in front of me, right? It's all of these incredible magical liminal creatures. But we still get the Ten of Wands. We still get that that's a labor. We still get that that's responsibility, that's burden. But they're all so fun and whimsical and just stunning. This is another artist that I could look at their artwork all day. And that's another thing that's so fun about tarot and about oracle cards is that they're miniature art galleries. Oh, so beautiful. Like you may never read with all of them all the time, but there are days when I like to pull out, a big shelf full of decks or something like that and just brew a cup of tea and, oh my gosh, so beautiful. And just sit with the images and look through them and appreciate the time and space and energy of these creations. These are great decks too. I find Paulina's decks are really great for meditation. But I can see very clearly in the screen of my mind. I always have been able to. Yeah, I really like meditating on these. Like, look how beautiful that is. Like, it's creepy and amazing and gorgeous. Like, oh, so fucking cool. Like, this, like, shadow creature, and there's more in the background on either side. And it kind of gives me a little bit of Penny Dreadful kind of vibes there, right? This page almost gives me Peter Pan, vibes. So stunning. I love that it's colourful but like pastel-y as well, which gives it another very unique vibe. These look like they belong in a really fun, funky video game, Gorgeous. And really, this reminds me of Jarrett the Goblin King a little bit. There's no one who does artwork quite like Paulina that I've seen anyway. And I have all of her decks. I've got the Witchlings. I've got all of her tarot decks. I would love to live there. So fucking gorgeous. Oh, thrilled. I'm so happy to have this in my collection. This is a deck that definitely makes me think of fall. So this is her 5th deck. So we have keywords, message, and reversed for each card. And then a few little tarot spreads at the back. Pretty no nonsense, and I love that. There's Paulina. Oh my gosh, she's from Ontario. There you go. I didn't know that. I'm also from Ontario. But yeah, Magicmakers Tarot, gorgeous, 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 by Paulina Fay. The Desert Illuminations Tarot is by Lindsay D. Williams, and it is psychedelic. It is so different and fun and bright. I mean, like, look at the edges. Oh, so fucking yummy. And again, I've learned my lesson. I'm holding on to these cards. Just beautiful pattern on the back. So it's reversible. And it absolutely, for me anyway, and I could be taking this wrong, with 2 caveats to when I say this. Firstly, the only deserts I've really spent a lot of time in are Australian red deserts. And 2, I've never done peyote, but part of this kind of reminds me of like a peyote trip, you know, in the Badlands somewhere. And I am so here for it. It is so cool and so different. Love the vivid colors. One thing that is, I would have put the numbers down here because as they move around the artwork, that's a little annoying for me. Like I would have put it, like, just move that over a bit, but that's just a tiny little thing. I've seen quite a few people working with this. This screams of summer for me. Beautiful strength card. You know, with the desert and stunning hermit. I love this Wheel of Fortune. Just so fun, you know, sparrows and the lady at the top there. So we got like a roulette wheel with a bat. We have the good luck horseshoes, a rattlesnake. There's a lot in that, and I really appreciate that. Now, there are a lot of guns. I have mentioned before, guns are not something that I love in tarot, but see, we have another one there that could have just not, you know, could have been down there. But anyway, I'll shut up about that. But I understand that this is because of the theme of the actual deck, like this beautiful Madonna as Temperance. Really, really, really love the art style. Love this devil. The devil's one of my favorite cards. So I can definitely move past the guns that are in this deck. Oh, this sun. Gorgeous. It's so fun and so, like, just iconic. And the world, beautiful. Reminds me of Nope, the movie, which was really good. So we have cactus instead of pentacles. I fucking love these aliens. Like, don't mind me and my giant ant, spider. Might be a spider, might be an ant. I'm just going to roll around in the desert. And honestly, like, I'm not a conspiracy theory person, right? Like, I don't know. I think it's funny to pretend like you know with absolute, that like you know the truth. I know it wasn't there, so I can't say, but there is this like crazy connection of like how many alien sightings and things like that are in areas like, you know, the desert. But it's also, I've been in deserts where like so much plays tricks on you. We have daggers. So cool. So beautiful 3. And again, I love the vivid colors, like so stunning. I do wish that they had put like, again, like you can see that they're daggers, but to put the 6 of daggers somewhere. But at least it's pretty obvious what cards they are. That's so cool. You better get the fuck out of the way. It's Skeletor. No. That's also really fucking rad. Love the sugar skulls. Reminds me of Tarantino films. Jugs, beautiful. Love, yeah, I love the bright psychedelics. Is it just me, or does it remind anybody else of like possibly being on a trip? It does, right? But I can definitely see this being just like perfect for someone who this is what they grew up around, and there's a lot of references here that, you know, you understand. For me, this is very, very different to my Australian upbringing and to my Celtic heritage, but I also can appreciate the shit out of how cool this is. And again, this is a themed deck done bloody right. There's no shortcutting, there's no bullshit. It's done really thoughtfully, very put together and beautifully. So then we have chilies instead of wands. Now, if you're going to do a theme deck, you at least for the shit's sake do it correctly like this. Oh, so cool. Beautiful. These bright skies. Oh, she's gorgeous. So gorgeous. Okay, and then in the book, so Lindsay has done both the deck and the writing, talking a little bit about the desert and then how to read the cards. Your first reading, then 1 card pulls, 3 card pulls, which I love that there's examples as well. And then we move into the major arcana and Lindsay talks a little bit about what the major arcana is. And then we have the trickster, planet Uranus, element air, chakra crown, and then information about the trickster, which would be the fool in the Rider-Waite-Smith tradition, and then the magician, and we go on. I'm just going to have a look at and each of the suits has information about it as well, which is great. You have a little bit about the minor arcana itself, and then each of the suits. Whoops. And then there's Lindsay, what a babe. And then a desert prayer. Oh, I love that. A desert prayer. Hi. The cactus tarot spread. Oh, we've got even more back here. The cactus tarot spread, which is like the Celtic cross, but done in theme. What a gorgeous deck. I can see why a lot of people have really enjoyed this. And that's the Desert Illuminations Tarot. The Tempest Tarot deck is by Maisie Bristol, or Macy, and it is a nautical themed mythic sea creatures, jaunty pirates, and enchanting sea maidens help you navigate the 78 cards of tarot. So let's check this out. Already really into the backs. Quite like octopus, standard tarot size. So this has a very specific like color palette and a very specific theme. I've actually looked through this because I was really excited to get it. And this is another themed deck done well. I love this Empress. I'm not, mad about the very selective colors that are used. I don't think it takes away anything. It does look very parchment, very old world when we were exploring mostly through ships and journeys took a really long time. Also, the Lovers is beautiful because under the water, things tend to be very muted anyway. Some of them are, these sort of minimal ones. I do feel that there is a bit of a missed opportunity with that. Like the seahorses, I totally get, but even if there was some sea grass in there, which is what they tend to also hold on to, or coral when they don't, so that they don't get dragged away. And strength as the anchor, I really love that. It could be on a beach, it could be on the boat, it could be under the water. Really like the hermit crab. So like, I do think there are cards like the Wheel of Fortune that could have had a little bit more in them, but it's also still really beautiful. But that's just my personal thoughts on it. Especially when, it's almost like this Hanged Man could just be this, like it could be the Triton upside down and nothing else. So it feels a little disjointed. I'm always going to give my honest opinion. Yes, I tend to gush about a lot of decks. Love the Devil. And that's because I think we just have been getting some incredible decks. And I love the Tower. But, when I see sort of a missed opportunity, I'm definitely going to say, and like the Star, we navigated by the stars. So for me, that's also, I get that it's maybe a different interpretation. And Maisie didn't want to do like the stereotypical navigating by the stars. So I do like the riches. But yeah, there was just a couple of things, really like the Sun. So you can tell everything has been really thought out. Like every symbol or representation in the cards has been very, very well thought out. I just think some of the execution could have done a little bit more. I love that this is walking the plank, door, that this is the world. Something that I would have put in maybe would have been, how you see some of the old maps and they had like old like icons on there, but I also understand why you wouldn't have that. We have wands. I like that it's just Ace of Wands, even though you can see it's a telescope. And we do move into a more Pip-esque deck. But here, it's like, yeah, I mean, if you start bashing those around, you're just going to smash the glass, right? I see treasure off the port bow. People getting pissed off because they want to know where they're going, so there are things in this deck, even if it does feel minimal at times, that makes total sense. I'm a big sucker for mermaids, so like she's beautiful. But the other thing is like, I understand like the page being a mermaid. I understand the knight being a light keeper. But but these just kind of move to being very nautically themed to very almost Rider-Waite-Smith-esque court cards, which I found to be a little interesting. So then we have flagons. That's really, I love the little love heart there. For the cups. Yeah, rainy and gross. Playing pirates. Like, I love that. Like, that is so cool. Like mermaids. Like, some of these cards absolutely knock it out of the park. Even this is so great with like the cracked cups. And then some of them I'm like, oh, it was almost there. It's like a 9 out of 10, you know? So the page is the mermaid. But then again, we move into these very Rider-Waite-Smith. That's really cool. That's like half and half. I do like that all the pages are mermaids. I'm really into that. And then the pentacles are the coins. So, I mean, I've done themed parties where I've read tarot, all that kind of jazz. So I do think that this would be very, very popular and very easy to pull out for a theme like that. And it is a beautiful deck. And I do think reading with it will be very, very easy. It has a late summer feel for me, early autumn. Maybe because of the color palette, but the late summer because of the theme. So introduction. And then we move here. So the imagery is based on Rider-Waite-Smith. So there you go. Then we have the upright reverse planet imagery and symbolism. So very straightforward into the cards. And then we have a 3-card spread, Celtic cross, and a treasure map. I do like that. The map, the treasure, the secret, and the advice. I really like that. And then the Tempest tarot spread. The word Tempest means storm. So how to navigate the storm. Yeah, it's a beautiful, beautiful deck, and another deck that's themed and well done. And if you really like nautical themes and mermaids and pirates, this may be for you. The Light Within deck, it's a Affirmation deck by Jodie Bergsma, and I am a huge fan of Jodie's artwork. Some of my favorite animal artwork has always been from Jodie, and I have all of her decks, even the ones you can't get anymore. So I was like, yes, please. I mean, like, look, it's just so beautiful. A lovely big guidebook. So I'll dive into that after. Now, these are huge cards. This is way bigger than I think any other deck I've got, and I'm not mad about it because her artwork is stunning. But again, if you've got little hands, big decks can be difficult to work with, but they fan so beautifully that you can just fan it across the table and pick a card. But these are meant to be affirmation cards. This is an affirmation deck. So I would use this as a way to close out a reading. I would use this as a reading for my day. This would be one of those decks that I would have had at my work I love the backs, by the way, at my work, and actually asked everyone from my team to pick a card. This would be something, maybe I choose an affirmation for the week and have it on my altar. This is how I like to work with these types of decks. Her artwork is so beautiful. And I like, with affirmation decks, I like to give the affirmation some time. So I want to, that's on my bucket list, seeing puffins. A lot of people will work with affirmation decks and, you know, move through the affirmations very quickly, maybe once a day, they'll pick a card. But I like giving the affirmations a week and saying them every day while they're on my altar, or having it at the end of a reading to wrap it up, so that there's time to let that affirmation really work in your body. Because you can't really say one thing once, most of us, and have it be something that resonates and integrates. Oh, it's a kitty cat. Whereas when you give yourself time to work on it, then it sinks in a little bit more. And sure, you're probably going to pick the same cards over and over, or they're going to come in cycles if you haven't learnt the lesson. But I do like giving it some time. So I would say, if you have worked with affirmation cards, it's Jerry. If you know, you know. If you have worked with affirmation decks, when you have moved away from them, or you're not sure why they haven't worked, maybe give them a little bit more time. But her artwork is so gorgeous. I'm always in awe of people's artistic brilliance. Jodie has been painting for probably longer than I can even imagine, and her otherworldly ability to bring depth and light is just so gorgeous. This would be also a perfect deck to give to, like, your auntie, you know, someone where you're like, how about we, you know, someone who's wanting to get into spiritual work, because it's so gentle. I mean, geez. I draw stick figures. I mean, maybe a little bit more than stick figures, but not much. Loved. I adore that this is loved, because my son and I have always been drawn to sea otters, and we have a painting from Mari in the Sky in his bedroom of a mother and a son sea otter, and I've even got books on sea otters and so I've even got like carvings of sea otters, one that represent me and him. So I love that that's loved so much. So as you can see, there's some mythical creatures, there's lots of beautiful plants and landscapes and animals. And it's just one of these gorgeous, gorgeous decks. Oh my gosh. They're so stunning. Oh my goodness. That pole, I mean, keep knocking the camera, sorry guys. The time that it takes to create this work as well. That polar bear is going to be one of my favorites. I also really like her sea turtles. And the frogs. Like, look at the little cubs. So pretty. Yeah, I would definitely give this, I love, look, and Wealth for Frogs. I love that. Beautiful humpback whale. Oh. So not only do you get the keyword and your affirmation, but you also get a book as well. So there's even more to enjoy. Okay. Introduction to affirmations, and then Jodie's work on affirmations and how they work. So I love that there's some information there. A 5-card spread. See, for me, having 5 affirmations would be a lot. You absolutely could do it. I would use an affirmation card in the center and maybe choose something supportive around, but play around with it. But yeah, Jodie is gorgeous. So here we have the abundance meaning, the swans, and why they have been chosen. And then we also have tulips. So there's information, and then contrary. So the upside down or the reversed, accomplishment. So I love that you've got information on the artwork. So happiness, and then frog and dragonflies, and then the meaning. So Jodie has put like a lot of work into the guidebook and giving you a lot to consider if you do draw the cards reversed. Gorgeous. Such a stunning deck. So this is the Light Within affirmation deck, and it's another one of my very beloved Jodie decks in my collection. The Rune Magic Oracle deck is written by Gulia Manzi and illustrated by Lorena Azizi. Hopefully I'm saying that correctly. It comes in this box. Now it's flat because I took the book out, but I love the raised runes. So the book actually tucks in here. I love that you can remove it. And then I've taken the deck out of the little inside box too, but everything is easy to pull out, which I super appreciate. And then we have the book here, which I'll have a look at after. And then we have the cards. So very simple runesque design. And then we have the rune and an accompanying illustration with the actual rune and 3 key words. I'm not going to attempt to pronounce these because I do not want to butcher them. Love Odin's rune. Yeah, I am not doing that. That's silly. And there's a good chunky guidebook. So I'm looking forward to having a look at how it is suggested to work with these runes. I have a number of sets of runes. I've been very fortunate to have some beautiful ones come into my hands over the years. It's a gorgeous Isa. So as you can see, there's the illustration, you know, so Pertho, that tries to encapsulate the rune, which is not always easy because they are a language. It is a language. And we also have a lot of magic and meaning around it. But I do like we've got the 3 keywords, and for the majority it's very easy to see where the rune is on the card. That's beautiful. Definitely see that these would be good altar cards if you're working with a particular rune or studying a particular rune. and wanting to bring in, you know, the key energies. Okay, so let's have a look at the guidebook. I really like that there's an index. Meow, meow, meow. I'm a big fan of an index. So we have the introduction, the word of runes, how to use the deck, the cards, and about the creators. Love the index because that's going to make finding everything so easy. So we have an introduction. Talks about the elder Futhak, and then the Futhok, and then the younger Futhak. Again, if I'm butchering that, I am so sorry. And then the word of runes. Then how to use the deck. So you would draw one rune, which then symbolizes the course of the day or advice for handling the matters of the day. And then the three Norns, past, present, and future. And then the Wheel of Seasons. And then you would arrange the runes in a circle, and then you would create a wheel. That's really cool. You'll need to have a tool, something to mark the starting point. It's like a spinner, almost like you would be spinning the wheel and doing one for each. That's really cool. I haven't done that that year ahead. Love that there's a big symbol of, so we have it in the center here, and then we have this artistic one. This is also really cool because you could trace over it and put it in a book of shadows. So we have the meaning, the element, the gender, the correspondences, and the divinatory meaning. And then more about the rune and the images. Galvig. And you can see how we're moving around the wheel now, which is really cool. It's really well, like thought out, because here as well, you can see this is at the end, right? At the end of the Elder Futhak, it marks the end of an old cycle and the beginning of a new one. Yeah, I really like the way this is set out, which is very different from anything else I have. Oh, Find Your Magic Tarot. And then Italian illustrator in Toronto. Interesting. So I don't think either, they're both from Rome. I don't think either of them actually have any, not that you need to have any Icelandic origins, but it might help. I don't know. I would love your interpretation. I also really love this cover, right, with the what you think about this deck, because I really like the way the book is set out, especially. I think it's very, very cool with the wheel, and the wheel reading where you would use a spinner is kind of rad. It's the Rune Magic Oracle deck. Which one is your favorite? Please let me know in the description box below. A quick comment and a like on this video does a lot for my channel. It really, really, really helps. So please help me. Help me to rise above the algorithm gods. Because I'm not a hot chick in a bikini doing dances on the internet. So, I mean, my options are limited here, guys. So if you could do that, that'd be great. And I will see you all next time.